What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the Chocolate City Podcast. It's your boy DJ D Nodamo today, but we do got a special guest with us. It's the 2026 Chocolate Hoop Summit MVP from No Ceilings, Jam Hines. You like that intro?
Man, I love it, man. I got to send that check in the mail. I appreciate you, man.
Yes, sir.
That's an incredible intro. I'm super excited to be here. I appreciate y'all having me here. This beautiful studio, and we're going to talk about a lot of great things. And I wish I wore my wizard stuff, but I got to get that on next time, though.
And look, first of all, good point. This is also brought to you by LED Studios. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and for all your studio needs, it's LED Studios. Yeah. Anyways, okay. No, hey, Jam, right? Thank you for coming on. Thank you for participating in the Hoop Summit. Before we get into the Hoop Summit, right, how about we just get to know you a little bit more? You know, you're with No Ceilings. You have a great podcast. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, for sure. I appreciate that. You know, so do my work with No Ceilings. Essentially what we are a NBA draft-focused scouting and consulting media company. So we're focused on all things NBA draft. A lot of us are watching stuff from the high school level, and me being in this area, you know, we are DMV hoops here, the best hoops in all the land. I don't care what anybody else to say. So no respect to New York, Texas, Seattle, the other areas. I get it, but I feel like DMV hoops are king here, especially in the high school level. So get a chance to watch kids early, even on the middle school level too. So doing that scouting and evaluation as well. And get a chance to get to NBA games too, but the most of it is focused on the NBA draft and get ready for that.
You know what I heard? Grassroots. I love it. Right? Yeah. It all starts when they're in middle school, because look, correct me if I'm wrong, right? Some of these guys start getting kind of ranked in middle school, right?
Absolutely. It's getting kind of crazy. Even third grade, you know, they're getting ranked. I'm trying to pay too much attention to that because it's pretty preposterous at this point. But looking at middle school and then high school, and then just shout out to the PYBL. I would say it's a middle school league, the premier youth basketball league we have in this area. Seeing Jerace Walker play in that, Derek Queen. So a lot of talent in the area, high level talent, get a chance to see them in middle school and develop and matriculate moving forward. And just very unique to be able to do that, to catch and watch guys before they get to that level, be able to watch and track their development both on and off the court.
Man, that's awesome. That's some great stuff you just talking about. My bad.
I was saying before we started, I was talking to them earlier about a kid who went to my high school. I went to a little private, little high school. It's called Clinton Grace now, but when I went there, it was Grace Brethren Christian School. But I have recently found out that he's like one of the top prospects in high school in the state of Maryland. And he's interested in Georgetown, Maryland. It's a couple other colleges. You said Butler.
Yep.
So shout out to him.
Yeah,
you know,
Jalen Lyons. Yep.
That's my guy. We went to the same high school. And
gotta show that
love. You gotta rep it. You gotta rep.
So shout out to you. So like I said, back to the DMV hoops. I mean, I think it's top of the line in this area, man. There's so many good hoopers. So many.
Anybody else that's caught, before we get to the summit, because has anybody actually caught your eye and you think like, hey, watch out for this kid in like the next 3 to 4, maybe 5 years?
Oh man, that's put me on the spot with a really tough one. I will say this. There are a few kids, especially with like takeover and team, the ranks like always got to be tapped in with those guys. There is a kid that goes to Sidwell. I want to say, I think he's maybe a sophomore or junior, if I'm not mistaken. But Judea Washington out of Sidwell, smaller guard, about 5'8" or so, 5'9". I'm a little taller than that. My bad if you're a little taller than that, I apologize. But he's just an absolute dog. He'll get after you defensively. I think he's one of the best defensive players in all of the country in the high school level. Just really gets after you, picking up the entire length of the floor, disruptive and everything. and especially, you know, smaller guards kind of give a little bit of a bad rap, but
Yeah.
when you get to the college level and potentially the NBA frame, but especially in college level, I think somebody's going to make an impact despite what his stature is.
You know what they say, the smaller you are, the lower to the ground you are, the faster you can move them puppies, the better you can get that basketball. So,
Yep.
That's
hey, the
facts.
Glove did it for years.
Yep.
I ain't trying to put too much pressure on me, but that sounds amazing, especially for, you know, I ain't that tall either. So, you know, we can't all be 6 foot, whatever,
foot.
Jam.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, speaking of Jam, we got to talk about the Hoop Summit, and we can't do this before we get what we need to get you real quick. So let's go ahead and get it out. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah. So we thought it was only right, Jan, to present you with
Oh, man, y'all.
the
too-
trophy.
Yes, sir.
Dude, this is going on the mantle. As I'm setting up the new office, it's gonna go right behind me. I really appreciate
Yeah,
this.
go ahead, put that
Yes,
right
yes.
there. Well, let the people see it. Let's see what we get.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Hey, no, but it was all jokes aside, man. You was really
Yeah.
hooping, man. Like, and I mean, it was a great time, right? Like, you know, for anybody that didn't get a chance to go see the Hoop Summit, it was our last video. Go check it out. We had a whole bunch of Wizards content creators, they friends. We had a whole bunch of great people, good community. It was a lot of fun. Man, let's just get into a little bit of that though. First off, let's start with you, D. Would you say that you provided some comedic relief of the day?
I would say I definitely provided some comedic relief, you know. It's been a while since my real hooping days, so you know, I'm more out there just to, you know, pass to Jam, pass to the guys who really do this hoop stuff.
Yeah.
Really be out here playing on their spare time here and there.
Yep.
But for me, it was a great time. I had fun. Seemed like everybody enjoyed themselves, and that's was most important. Just the community coming together. The Wizards community, of course, on a national scale, people may joke and say, "Oh, there's Wizards fans," but there's a lot of Wizards fans, and there's a lot of Wizards fan creators. And it's just nice that we had created something and will continue to create a space where we can bring it all together
Right.
as one.
So I think though, before we get to Jam for being the MVP for being on the court, there was somebody else who didn't have a basketball in his hand the entire time that should be also considered co-MVP. We got to give a shout out to our producer.
Yes, sir.
E. Lee in the back. Y'all don't see him, but he
the
was
GOAT.
there. This man was in the middle of the court. This man was up everywhere.
Yeah.
And the editing skills had made a lot of us look
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
Well, because look, obviously Jam didn't need that many edits, but
Hey,
for
I
some
need
of
all the
us,
help I can get to. I appreciate
some
you.
of us, we needed some edits so that, you know what I'm saying, I had my shot, my little layup, we were 2 inches off the ground. You know what I'm saying? Luckily, he stopped rolling when you had your
I
moments.
took a little tumble.
Toggle a little tumble.
I felt like Kyrie going through the lane. I got a little shifty, and it just
Nah,
when
hey,
it came to the finish.
I don't know how we gonna do these edits, but we need to show either something blowing a tire or a crash dummy just going straight through the windshield, because that's exactly what happened. Man tried to do a Euro, blew a tire, boom, dramatized all into the wall.
Engine check light.
Yeah,
came
sure
on.
did, sure did.
Oh yeah.
All right, Jam, talk about your experience, man, at the Hoop Summit.
Just an absolute beautiful experience. I appreciate y'all putting that event on and having me there, and so many of the Wizards content creators and just the area creators in the community. Like, it was just a terrific day of fellowship, be able to get out there and hoop, meet different people, and it's just also fun. It's like, oh, I didn't know you run this account. And like, oh, I heard of this account, and be able to put those pieces together and set up things like this for us going into this podcast to collaborate. Because for me, and this basketball in general, the beautiful thing about it is the fellowship and the ability to be able to bring people together from all different walks of life, different generations, like races, cultures, it doesn't matter. So to be able to have that on display and for us to be able to do that, it was just incredible, and I can't wait to come back and do it again next year.
Awesome. I think that, like you said, it was great just to, within 2 months of just, you know, going for it. Like, I think, you know, D, I've talked about this idea for so long, and you know, it was one of those things where, are we going to actually be able to get people? Are we going to actually? But it's like, you know what, we're just going to do it, and it turned out to be great.
Yeah.
Right? We was on the court for I don't know how long. A lot of us ain't played in a long time, but it was fun. And then you could tell the skills were starting to kind of come back to some folks. Hey, shout out to Matt Moderno because he apparently he balls all the time. Yeah. And that man was a flamethrower from 3. Lee, who runs a Sleeper Wizards account, man was like the next Marcin Gortat out there, man, in the post. And look, Ryan Oliver, dog, like that dude was just full go, like 10 out of 10. Like he might have been actually the only one that might have been like really like trained to go from the jump. Right. So, you know, shout out to him. Shout out to Jonathan Wall, the GM of the Capital City Go-Go, for being there as well and participating truly. And anybody else, again, if I forgot, you know, if I didn't mention your name, appreciate you all for being there. Y'all made that event what it is. And next year it's gonna be bigger and better. We're gonna have more time to make it a serious event, right? Not gonna give it all away, but just know that somebody's gonna have to give this man a run for that trophy. Right. The trophy actually might be bigger because when I win it, it may have to, you know what I'm saying? It may have to sit a little bit taller for your boy. That's all I'm gonna say. I love it. That's it. No. But all jokes aside, again, man, it was such a good time and a fun time. I mean, like when you ultimately think about it, though, again, we talked about people like coming together in that space. Like, imagine all the other content creators, especially for this year, when the Wizards start doing really well, how many more are going to pop up? Because that's typically what you see what happens. I'm not trying to go too much of a tangent here, but you have to imagine that typically when a team starts to elevate, starts to become good, it motivates others to really want to start talking about this team, whether it's via shorts, any sort of content, right? Maybe it's more, you know, into the journalism space to get into sports, like whatever it is. It's going to be really interesting to see. Remember, we talked about, was it either the last episode or the episode before, there's going to be a whole new generation that's like AJ. This is what they know as AJ. Right. Where some of us know, you know what I'm saying, C. Webb. Some of us know Gil era. Some of us know the John Wall era first.
Some people are from the Bradley Beal era. Like, they didn't even really experience the John Wall prime John era. It was more John Hurt. Started watching, Brad was 30 points per game. Yeah. But we were, you know, the most they seen was the first round against the 76ers. So it's just crazy that for some people this will be the first time since in their watching time of basketball of the Wizards that they see a team try to be competitive in this city.
Yeah. It's gonna be a crazy time, but again, it's gonna be a good time for the city. So all right, so now that we done got to that, Jam done got his trophy, we done talked about the Hoop Summit. All right, we gotta talk about something because shots were fired, and I didn't see it coming. I basically got ambushed. All right, I don't know what happened. I went onto the Lockdown Wizards podcast. Shout out to y'all. I was with my boy AB, and we were just talking about, you know, AD. The extension, it didn't happen, right? The news came out, broke. I think it might have been Josh Robbins who put it out there that basically said that, you know, the Wizards front office isn't going to give AD a contract extension before the season starts. Right. And one of the things that I had mentioned as part of that whole thing is, again, like, now what are the expectations of the Wizards? So if we got the clip, we'll put it in, we'll play it.
It's kind of sad, but I get it. Haven't been past the second round of the playoffs since 1979. It's been such an ugly rebuild. Then all of a sudden it's like, we land Trae Young and Anthony Davis to get their number 1 pick in a couple of months. The whiplash from that had to be crazy. But now they're like, oh, I can't wait to see my Wizards knock out LeBron and the Sixers in the playoffs. Or listen to what this guy said on a Wizards podcast.
The rebuild essentially is over. We're at this point in time, we are getting to the playoffs and try to at least get past the first round, I would assume.
Past the first round, you assume? And I hate to get on that fan because he seems like a good guy, but this is delusional. In fact, the rebuild isn't over. The Wizards are actively planning to lose next season.
But essentially, more or less, what I said was, hey, with a healthy AD, that was the question. Because you see, it actually got cut. One of the things is a healthy AD, like you would want like 50 games from AD, right? At least 50. If you get 50 games out of AD, you can expect to make the playoffs. And what I said was, the whole city at this point, the rebuild essentially is over. The expectations are higher. We're supposed to go or make a run for the playoffs. And the next thing I said was, and hopefully you would try to get out the first round. try to
Right.
get out the first round. So who said all this? Me. But what shot came at me? It came from Casey from AM Hoops. Casey from AM Hoops, his YouTube video. I guess I should give him a shout out for even like saying something. But at the end of the day, man was just like baffled that we would think that we would get out the
Right.
first round, and basically called me out and called AB out. So I don't know, man. Shots fired. Was my
Yeah.
take? What was my take wrong? Was there something wrong with my take?
I mean, I thought when you originally sent it in a group chat, I looked, I said, oh, I thought somebody was talking about one of our YouTube comments on the channel and was talking crap. Then I clicked, I see you on the Locked On the podcast. I said, okay. And then I see the video, I see what he says, and I said, oh, because DJ can have some takes that's out there. So let's see what DJ done did.
I get spicy sometimes.
then
What can I say?
I hear what you say, what you just explained, and you talking about maybe, getting past the first round, maybe. And I'm like, that's a pretty mild take. In my opinion, that wasn't anything crazy. That wasn't anything unrealistic. And of course, there's context cut out because that's how content works.
Yeah.
You got to get the clickbait and all that, which I get. But if AD is playing 50 games or 55 games, etc., it's like, yeah, the Wizards with the team that they have are surrounding that.
Yep.
They should get to the playoffs. They should be competitive in at least the first round. You would hope.
Right.
So I don't think that was a crazy take at all.
Yeah, I'm right there with y'all. Like, I was expecting for you to say, oh man, the Wizards are going to have a chance to compete for home court advantage in the first round. We're looking to get to the second round and do all those different things. But that wasn't the case. It's very reasonable to expect with this team, despite still having some young pieces, you have two solidified all-stars in Trae Young and Anthony Davis there, if healthy, and that's the big key, especially for them, particularly AD. But health that's what it is, and across the league and in any sport, you have to have that. So even with that, you have those two cornerstone guys that can still get it done when healthy to lead the way. Then you have all the young talent that continues to emerge and develop here in Washington, and of course you bring AJ in there, who just looks like the real deal from day one. So what else would you be expecting? Are you expecting to be right back in the lottery, top 5 and that type of? No, that should not be the expectation with the talent and the trajectory that the Wizards are on right now.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, again, anybody can look at this roster, and no one's saying that Trae and AD are our saviors. But again, right, you have a really all-star perennial type of player in Trae Young, who is probably our best playmaker we've had since John Wall, right?
Sure.
Floor general, led the league in assists, literally averaged like almost 30 and 10, or did average 30 and 10. Then you have a top 75 player, and I was also very specific in that, right? There's a difference between in that 75 who's 1 through 10, and then who's 11 to 75, right? Like there's a difference, right? AD, you could say like, okay, he definitely deserves to be in there, but like you said, it's that availability that has people like, and that's all they see. And that's a fair assessment. That's why I said no one's sitting here, honestly, I don't think anybody in Wizards community, in the NBA community, is expecting AD to play a full 82. I don't think he's ever done it, actually. I'd have to look that up to confirm, but I don't even think, even in his rookie season, he played 82. I think the highest he's played maybe might be in the 70s. But again, like, you get AD, right, to play at least 50 games in the regular season. Right, get him. More importantly, a healthy AD in the playoffs. Who's to say we can't fight in the first round, depending on where we place? Right now, I mean, if we in the 8th seed and we going up against number 1, I mean, obviously it's like
we match up with the Sixers or something, then most likely probably gonna get crushed.
But you know what though? Here's another reason why so many different scenarios could happen, right? Because again, we talked about the 50 games, maybe how that 50 games is split. Is Anthony Davis on minutes restriction? Like, what is the front office and Keith thinking? What are these assistants thinking? Like, what's the plan? What's the goal here to make sure that you can try to get the best version of AD for at least 50 games throughout the entire season? I mean, now I know there's the whole back-to-back resting games off. You can probably expect that with him. The second that he even says, like, hey, man, I don't know. I woke up this morning, I kind of hit my knee on the wall a little bit, feel a little bit sore, be like, you ain't playing tonight.
Street clothes tonight.
Street clothes tonight, like that's it, you know what I'm saying? Like, we don't know how maybe they've gotten to that seeding. So who knows? All of a sudden, it's like they sit out AD the last maybe 10, 15 games, and you healthy for the playoffs. Maybe you might be able to do something. I just think overall, it's not absurd to say that the Wizards should be competing to get into the playoffs this year, and when they do get into the playoffs, to fight to get out of the first round. If they lose, they lose. But I expect it to be more of a battle than the last time we were in the playoffs, where we got gentlemen swept by the Sixers.
Right.
So, all right, enough of that. I think what we should talk about now actually is the decision from this front office to say, hey, we're going to hold up and not give AD this extension right away. What do you think?
I think it's the right decision because from the jump, myself and other Wizards fans were saying, like, the AD has no real leverage here. You know, I get it. He has name value, but when you look at the age, when you look at the injury history, it's just not realistic to expect a team, especially that just paid Trae Young, to go ahead and give you this max that you're looking for with all this uncertainty surrounding you. It's just not realistic, which I think is a reason why AD will play very well. You talked about him being healthy. The Wizards had another big in the past who had injury history with Kristaps Porzingis, and he actually played a good amount of games before eventually they ended up shipping him off to Boston. So I think maybe they may follow that kind of guideline of how they treated KP because he has similar health issues like AD. But it's the right decision. Like, you hold off on it. There's no rush. There's no pressure. You know, if AD balls out, then we'll get there when we get there. Maybe you get a good price for him in the trade and you can move him for good assets. Or maybe you sign him to that. Well, I've been hearing 2 years. People have been saying maybe like a 2-year type of thing. You know, so yeah, I agree with holding off for right now.
Yeah. Once again, I'm with you on this. Like, it's no way the Wizards should be offering or feel comfortable offering the max he wants 4-year, 275, 76, somewhere in that range, you know. So it makes sense for them not to do that, considering all the reasons that you already eloquently laid out. And I think for AD, you have Truth Standing with him and Clutch and Rich Paul. They know, like, yeah, like, it's, you know, you want that max deal, but it comes with a lot, like, of valid concerns on that team side, and not just from the Wizards, but any other team who will be potentially courting him in free agency. And I believe it's the $62 million player option that he has next year as well, too. So he has that in his back pocket if the season does not exactly go the way he wants to. And I mean, $62 million to have in your back pocket, like if you're injured or not, to be able to opt into that. And then it also just keeps things fairly flexible for the Wizards, too. That'll be an expiring deal if he ends up coming back on there. And there's no real long-term commitment. I think the Wizards in that front office will be inclined to do something, a 2-3 year deal, as you mentioned. I think that's where it's going to eventually go to if he can stay healthy. But that 4-year max, I just don't see that happening. I don't see any team offering him that, honestly.
Nah.
And maybe honestly too, that's where the Wizards knew that it's like, hey, we're the ones who have leverage here. We have, because look, you know, Clutch Sports is not a, you know, ain't no pushover. So you know,
and that was the worry. Like, Wizards fans thought they was going to get bullied.
Clutch, like, they were bullied, but now, but also too, like when we talked about a couple weeks ago with Golden State, it's like, look, just because we got AD on the cheap, don't mean we gonna give them away from cheap.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Yesterday's price ain't today's price, homie. Like, you know what it is. Because also too, it's like, it didn't, that particular deal never made much sense, right? Because it's like, okay, so we get what, Yaxel. That's what Wizards fans were really asking for, Yaxel. But for the salary, you got to give us Butler, right? Yeah. And then, but it's like, okay, but we don't need or want Butler for what we're putting out there on the court right now, right? That would definitely take. You already have some Wizards fans, you know, talking about, like, we don't need more people taking minutes away from these young guys, right?
A lot of wings already.
Yeah, so it's like, you know, and we'll get into that, right? Because I mean, this is another reason why I think about the Wizards are going to go places, not just because of those 2 All-Stars, but for all these other young guns that are going to be coming up in like another year of those guys. But yeah, anyways, though, like, AD at this point in time doesn't have leverage, and he's going to get bought in, right? We've seen, was it one of the monumental videos for the Wizards? I forgot what the title's called, but that came out, and you saw him like with the young guys, practicing with the young guys. Now, you know, he's balling with Trae Young and some of these open runs. Like, Trae's up in the Drew League, getting back into shape, and also, like, I mean, honestly, it's an exciting time, a real exciting time. So, I guess now what I want to get into next, though, is like more so, okay, we talked about AD, we talked about Trae. Another reason, like I was just mentioning, that there's hope for us making the playoffs is another year of KG, another year of Alex Sarr, another year of Bub, another year of Real Wiley, right? Another year of Sniper Trey Johnson, his boy, right? Like there's a lot of promise. Bilal,
Right.
Another year of Bilal,
Don't
right?
forget about him,
right? And you know, there's room for improvement to continue to happen. And you know, Keith is all about development.
Right.
And I think that another step from those guys, especially let's say an Alex Sarr, a Bilal from even being more like two-way for sure, more so on the offense, and then KG improving even further. Before he got hurt, KG looked like it's like, oh boy, he might mess around and get started his team a little bit. That's how Wizards fans was feeling. So, talk about like what your expectations are for this young group along with the veterans. Like, how do you see that mixing?
I think it's a good mix because it's so important having guys around young guys who have won and have competed at the highest of levels on the biggest of stages. So you don't want to have too young of a team because they don't know how to win. They don't know what it takes to play a full length season and compete all the way to the end, in big games and big moments, end of the game. So it's good to have that balance between the young guys and who may be a little overzealous, who may start doing a little too much. You have the vets who's like, all right, let's calm down, let's relax, or, behind the scenes, telling them you need to do this if you want to get here, if you want to be here, if you want to make this money, because they've done it. They've been all-stars. Middleton has been an all-star. AD has been an all-star. Trae Young has been an all-star. So it's a good mix, and I think they have the right vets in there. We ain't talking about Gilbert Arenas level vets, with the Nick Youngs and Andre Blatches and stuff. So
What a time in DC.
It's a good mix, but it's also important to have the right vets, and they have the right vets in there.
Sometimes you're a vet by the number of years you played only, not by like maturity.
Right.
It's like when you think vet, you think I'm mature, gonna help lead these. When that's a whole different story for a different day. Go ahead, Jan. What you think?
Outside of health for the team, I think that is absolutely the biggest story. How does the vets and the young guys mesh together? How do they come together and move forward? Because it's always a delicate balance. You're going to have AD and Trey leading the way with their high usage, but then you're going to have AJ, obviously, Keyshawn George, who stepped up and has been doing this thing, Alex Sarr. So it's like, you don't want to stunt their growth as well. So it's like, all right, they're going to have to maybe have the ball less in their hands. They're going to have different uses than what they're used to, maybe operating on different spots on the floor. So I'm interested to see how Keith does that. If he's going to have lineups where it's like, hey, Keyshawn, you run point, or you have the ball mostly in your hand when Trey's not in there, to make sure that he gets the reps that you want him to have. Because to your point, DJ, he was looking like, all right, this is potential all-star for us. What he was doing in some of the big games that he had, not just scoring, but on the glass, facilitating as well, the defensive playmaking. And also, it's going to be very interesting to see how they balance that. You want to keep their ascension going. And at the same time, it's like you have those guys in AD and Trey leading the way who are going to allow them to really slow play their growth a little bit, where it's not necessarily a bad thing, but it's like, all right, not all of this is on your plate. You have veterans to rely upon, and we can ease you into doing these type of things.
D, I'm about to get spicy.
Go ahead.
Here we go.
About to get spicy.
Go ahead.
All right, look, hear me out. We ain't done no hot takes yet. I'm already just hearing what Jan was saying. It had me thinking. I don't know what year it was, but remember that Atlanta Hawks team where it had, I think, Kyle Korver, Jeff Teague, Al Horford, Smith, I think Paul Millsap. When all five of them made the All-Star game, because that team went on a 20-plus game win streak, and it was at the right time, right? And they were just going crazy. Is it absurd to say that the Wizards could make maybe not a 20-game run, let's just say 10 to 15.
Win streak?
I said I was getting spicy. Let me cook. All right? 10 to 15. We done seen worse Wizards teams be first place in the East for a month. All right? So I ain't trying to hear that.
Right, we have.
All right. Sorry, right? We ain't gonna get to that. I'm just saying. Trae Young, former All-Star, can easily get back. AD knocked them off. We've seen first round picks make All-Stars in the past.
Right.
And AJ could be that type of generational player to really do it. Not saying he will, but he might. You never know. And who's to say? Alex saw from a defensive impact standpoint. We've seen Rudy Gobert make All-Star appearances. So damn it, Sarr should be able to do that. And Keyshawn, like I said, he looked like he was an all-star from the first half of that season until he got hurt.
Yeah.
And honestly, he probably would have if he didn't get hurt. Well, I don't know the record from what we had, but again, if he had kept playing like he was playing, like he was averaging almost 20-something a game. Who knows? All I'm saying is that's my hot take. The Wizards, if they live up to that potential, the 5 starters, I can see like a five all-star, starting team.
That's spicy.
That is spicy. Now, if he got, put in a video for that take, I can see that.
Yeah.
I can see that. Because the only 10, 15 game streaks I'm accustomed to the Wizards having is usually with an L.
The L in the category.
Next to the score. So it's I hope so. Like Kodak said, I hope so. But
I need some water after that one. That's right.
Yeah, it would be very nice to see it all come together like that. I think where maybe not early, maybe so it could happen later on in the season because the team has to gel.
Yeah.
The team has to get accustomed to playing with each other. Everybody has to get used to their play style, who's going to close out games, who's going to have the ball in these moments, who's going to, just getting used to the system, getting used to Keith's system, getting used to playing with AD and Trae. Like they were there, but they weren't really playing. Trae played 3-4 games last season.
Yeah.
So
by design, by the way.
Yeah, by design. But I think it'll be some growing pains. So
Right.
I don't think so early, but maybe when we get closer to maybe heading towards All-Star break territory, potentially.
I'll say this. I have more faith in Trae Young being more available because I don't think Trae Young has a history of being hurt.
I don't think he has a history.
I think last year was the biggest.
For sure.
Was the biggest time frame. Okay, we're gonna get to the final segment real quick, and Jen, we're gonna start with you. Damn, I lost my train of thought. Damn. See, I did a spicy take, and then you want to comment on my spicy take, talking about all this. Yeah, why didn't you just live with the spicy take? Like you could have just went with it, man. I had a queued up question from my boy Jam here, and you. Hey man, now I gotta think like man. Hey man, hey look.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
A
I
comment
had to say
has to be
something.
made on it, but
Man, I was about to say cue the Jeopardy music because now I'm thinking. Got you. Okay. Yeah, you still there, man. All right, Jam. And then we get to you. Now you got to go second because now you done messed it up. You done messed up the rotation, man. Talking about my spice take. Jam. All right. Now we know there's a lot of mouths to feed, right? You talked about the usage.
Yeah.
Give me your takes on who's the first, second, and third as far as like priority in getting the ball and the scoring. Who do you think that is?
First is definitely Trae. That is the point guard. The ball is in his hands. Like whether it be him as a scorer or a facilitator, it is his show to go ahead and orchestrate.
Yep.
And I'll have to say second, AD. I think it's close with AJ. I think they want to get AJ involved early and often let him get a chance to go do his thing, figure out what he can and can't do. In Summer League, had a chance to see him in person in Summer League, and it was absolutely electric. Wasting no time, getting busy, no nerves, just ready to kill. And I expect him to take that mentality. So I expect those three to really be there. And if AD's on the court, you have to give him the ball. You mentioned the runs, the Players United that they were having him and Trae, and watch them already work together. You see AD with the pick and roll, hitting that short jumper, making plays out of short roll and everything like that. So I expect those three to be the focus. And then Keyshawn, that's the one right there, which is tough because we talk about his ascension already. So it's like, man, I feel like something wrong leaving him outside of that mix. So it's going to be like AJ and then also Keyshawn trying to really figure out that 3 or 4. I think that's where it's really going to lay.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely think I agree because one, I go off number one, who's making the most money,
Yep.
who's the highest draft pick. So when we talking about money, we talking about Trey, we talking about AD, we talking about draft status, AJ DeBonsta. So it's like that's your three right there, just based off of money and draft status. And then Keyshawn, you got Alex. He's not starting, but I know, Jam, you're a huge fan. But Trey, coming off, I mean, I could see him easily being the sixth man. I could see him getting games pretty early, seeing if he can get hot, being that microwave guy, maybe being our Lou Williams or Terrence Rawls, guys who have come off the bench and have been microwave guys who can end up scoring 20-something points. And he comes off the bench, but he's giving you 28 minutes or 30 minutes in a game. So maybe him as my fourth guy, potentially.
Man, the only thing that I'll switch up is, and because I always go against the grain, and I want to stay consistent, because this is also what I said on Locked On, was I think the point of it, the ball's going to be in Trey's hands. I think the ask, though, is going to be more so being a floor general first and score second. I think the reality is it's going to be AD who's going to be more motivated and be like, give me the ball. So that's the only one that I'll switch. Then it's AJ. And to your point, you made a great point here, Jam, is that when Trey goes out, and let's say the other Trey Johnson, comes in, maybe that's where KG gets like the point of attack and he's initiating the offense more. And now it's more so like, then again, we talked about AD minutes restrictions, so somebody else come in and, whoever replaces AD ain't coming in for the scoring. So maybe that's when it's more so, KG and AJ, and Trey kind of, and then that's the kind of 1, 2, 3 or whatever order you want to put it in. So, I mean, then, damn, like we can't forget about Will Riley. I think what's crazy is with Will is that, if Donald was here, he would definitely be all on that, talking about some point guard. Because the sort of skills that he shows at 6'10", it's like, well, damn, you can easily see him just running the offense too. But you wouldn't see, I mean, even though, obviously last year he had a good chance to show his scoring ability, if he's in the game, maybe he could be the facilitator, and then it's just really like KG coming off the screen and then shooting or something like that, right? There's a lot of mouths to feed on this team. You already know who the priority three are, but then we start getting deeper into the bench, and it's just like, man, there's gonna be somebody who became real, like some Wizards fan has them close to their heart, and they may not even be playing like that. Right. Like I know a lot of us like Cam Whitmore from the athletics standpoint, but to be honest, it's hard for me to imagine how he's cracking the rotation, how he's getting minutes.
And Bub,
Bub too. Bub too, and Bub's a dog.
I mean, it's a good problem to have. You want guys to feel like they need to compete and that they're not guaranteed certain spots, in the rotation. That means that you have the talent to have guys compete and to question. As before, we're like, we know Bub, we know Cam Whitmore, we know these guys are in rotation, as opposed to this season with more talent added. It's like, I don't know. We got a few guys that can be good, but are they good enough to crack the rotation? I don't know. And overall, that's a good thing.
I can't wait for training camp because, like you said, it's going to be a battle. Nothing's guaranteed. The only really three people that got guaranteed playing time is Trey, AJ, and AD. Yeah. AD ain't guaranteed if he can't stay healthy. But if he can, he's got it. Yeah. All right, y'all. Jam, MVP.
Yes, sir.
I'm coming for your title next year. Hey, look, man. Glad you came onto the show.
For sure.
Why don't you go ahead and remind the folks where they can find you?
Man, first of all, thank y'all for having me. I really appreciate it. Would love to come back sometime soon, talk some Wizards and everything. But you can follow me on Twitter at Jam on the Boards to see all my work at NoCeilingsNBA.com as well. We usually have something going pretty much every day, even during the summer as well, too, just on the NBA draft. There's guys for you to get comfortable with, even checking out a lot of the FIBA stuff that's going on overseas. So trying to keep everybody up to date as we get back into the season.
Awesome. And where can they find you? Oh shit, that's right. Hey, this has been the Chocolate City Podcast. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. We'll see y'all next time.
Free D, man. Free D.